This show this morning of Diplomatic Leaks, this is a show that goes behind the diplomatic channels to see what is coming out of the diplomatic bags, what is going on, what type of life we are leading in the world. Are we too timid to say what we want to say? Is the situation conducive for Africa to say what it's supposed to say? Have we been so quiet for a long time that we are being mistaken? Are we the only people who are being pressed? Why are we the only ones isolated? Why is it that people talk about us as being the underdogs, yet we produce the best for the world? Yet we have the best people running marathons. Yet we have the best minerals. Yes, we have the best weather. What has killed Africa in places in the last 66 years is what I'm going to look at today. And that is in the perspective of the Russian war. I will be very candid on this. Many of you might not know what it is, and I will make my stand very clear. Why is Africa? Why did Africa err on this? Why is the AU helpless at this hour? That our people, our children, our sons, our daughters, our relatives are stuck. Why are we never prepared? Why do we assume that Europe is everything? There can't be a war. Why don't we have trigger mechanisms to show that there could be a war? Why don't we place our ground very clear to know that there is a war? A war is coming. Why is it that it is us in Africa who have been crying for help for a long time? It is us in Africa who have been saying the war in Somalia should end. It is us in Africa who have been saying the Biafrans should have their right to stay in a country which was called Nigeria and be given their country if they want to go away from the state of Nigeria, which is a federal state. It is us who have been talking about Cameroon. The people of Africa have forgotten that Cameroon exists. People are dying in Amazonia. It is us who have been talking about Tripoli. In Tripoli, in Benghazi, in Libya, people are dying. It is us who have been talking about the Central African Republic. People are dying. The type of people, the type of refugees that you see across the globe. In Africa, we have so many. It is us who have been talking about the situation in Democratic Republic of Congo. It is us who have been saying in Maputo, there is a problem. How fast does the world come to our aid? The question that I'm asking here this morning, the question that I want to preach here to Africa this morning, the Pan-African zeal that is in me, I feel so embarrassed as an African to have a head of state flying 10,000 kilometers, over 20,000 kilometers to go and meet a racist governor. I feel so offended that in Nigeria we produce a lot of oil, crude oil, but there is no oil in the petrol station. There is no fuel. Nigeria has no fuel. Cars are stranded at the petrol station. I feel so offended that Democratic Republic of Congo has no money to hold elections, but it produces enough money to make all the telephones that we have, that we carry around the world. I feel so much offended, embarrassed as an African, that today we have our Africans stuck and Poland tells us no. And the Polish police is telling us, you black, you are not entering. Black, no, out. I feel offended. I want to take this opportunity to thank the British government, the United Kingdom government of Her Majesty. It is the only country in the world, in the European world, And I want to be on record to state here categorically where you can get education without discrimination, where you can get opportunity without discrimination, where you can go to university, to school. I went to university in the United Kingdom. I went through all those stages. They never told me to stop going to school. They never stopped at the train station and told me to leave out, not to go enter the university. United Kingdom is one of the best places that one can live without racism, without discrimination. The rest of Europe is zero. And we have to be frank now today. The blacks who are living in France have a problem. The blacks who live in France live in shanty towns. They are segregated. They are told that is the black quarters. You can't find black quarters in Britain. Britain is one of the best countries in the Commonwealth Empire that has looked after the nature, humanity, the grades of human beings, all of us together. I want to thank the British government, the Her Majesty, for having welcomed millions and millions of refugees, including myself, for us for having stayed and used their facilities, the tools of analysis that I'm using today are the results of the British government. I want to thank them. But the whole of the Western world, some of the countries like in France, in Hungary, in Ukraine, in Poland, especially these Eastern European countries, there is a lot of racism against Africa. There is a lot of racism against Africa that we have got to stand up and talk about it. Today we cannot run away from it. We are the producers of the materials that come back to kill us. We produce a lot of material that kill us as Africans. When are we going to talk about it? When are we going to discuss it? When are we going to be leveled together on the same machinery, same weighing machine? We need to discuss as Africans. Why have we let ourselves down? Why have we been called second-class African black people? Why should the Polish government ambassador sit in a sunshine area of Africa as anywhere on the continent while he's refusing our black people across the world to cross over to Poland for safety because there is a war in Ukraine? I want somebody to give me an answer. I want somebody to tell me why he cannot summon the Polish ambassador in Kenya, in Uganda, in South Africa, and ask him, what are you doing here? Where are we? If this incident happened in Britain, Britain will make sure that all the nationals of other countries that are their students are told to be safe, they safeguard their interests. I want to thank Britain again for being the spearheader of all the humanitarian, human rights, equality of humanity. The war between Russia and Ukraine is George Soros. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why Russia is pounding Ukraine. Not because I'm happy, no. But the people are not telling the truth. Russia is pounding Ukraine because its structure, the information, the knowledge, the money is George Soros' money. Hallelujah. You have got the truth from me today. And you can cross-check this, and you are going to see what I'm talking about. Russia is pounding Ukraine because Russia issued a warrant of arrest for Mr. George Soros for taking their money. Who started the Ukrainian revolution? Who paid for the Ukrainian revolution? The Orange Revolution of 2004, November 22nd to 23rd January 2005. Historians can go back, check me, check the records. My colleague, my friend, an outfit of CIA man by name Dick Morris, was a member of the squad that was in Ukraine. We better learn these things, go slowly. Then you'll understand why Russia is angry and destroying. It is destroying everything because there is a warrant of arrest for Mr. George Soros sent out by Moscow. It is lying on Interpol that if you find Mr. George Soros anywhere, arrest him and bring him back to us because Russia is part of the Interpol. Yes, it is not good for you to go and kill people in Ukraine. But we must tell the world why is Russia pounding Ukraine? Russia is destroying the infrastructure that was built. The banks in Ukraine are George Soros. Most of them are George Soros banks. It is the same George Soros who is exporting revolutions on African continent. It's the James Soros who is paying opposition leaders in African countries to bring mayhem on our states in Africa. We are peaceful. Should we not talk about it? Shouldn't we talk about it as Africans? We should just condemn. Yes, we have to condemn Russia for having gone into Ukraine inhumanly and killed civilians. That's not very good. We have to condemn Poland equally for refusing our black people to accepted in Poland when there is no railway, when there is no bus, when there is no transport, when there is no sea. We have to condemn them. We have no mercy on this. We are non-aligned. I don't know why Africa went wrong. I don't know why Africa did not become non-aligned. Where is the non-aligned movement of Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Fidel Castro, Marshal Tito? What has happened to it? Nyerere, Nkrumah, Kaunda, Obote, Gabriel Nasser, Selassie, non-aligned movement. Africa erred by selling its rights diplomatically to France. You realize that every state, former state of France in Africa is in turmoil. You realize that the military coups are coming back. You realize that the soldiers are eager to come and seize power, instigated by George Soros, the man that Russia has used quietly as the doctrine to hammer Ukraine. Don't be told a lie. Don't be told. That's why America has not sent its troops. If the matter was so serious to that level, American troops would be in Kiev. They would be there today. NATO would have put troops on the ground. Why is NATO not putting troops on the ground? Why? We do condemn Russia. We do tell the world that Russia has done a bad thing to invade. But Russia equally is looking for its money from a man called George Soros. He took almost $969 billion and took them. They issued a warrant of arrest. The American government cannot hand over their national. We are now here saying, oh, the war in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. Why don't we tell the world the truth? The world is now knowing the truth from me, and I've said it.